Boa tarde a todos. Está começando o segundo dia do primeiro workshop organizado pelo portal Exibidor, a Exibidor Tech Week. Para quem não me conhece, meu nome é Marcelo Lima, sou CEO da Tonks, empresa proprietária da revista Exibidor e do portal Exibidor. Em nome da Exibidor, não posso deixar os meus mais sinceros agradecimentos aos nossos patrocinadores, a Adobe, a Harkness, Sharpneck e também a Christie. Obrigado a todos por todo o suporte que vocês têm dado aos projetos da revista Exibidor e do portal Exibidor. Cada uma dessas empresas que eu citei estão desde ontem, terça-feira, e vão ficar até amanhã apresentando soluções e caminhos para uma indústria sustentável e responsável para o que a gente espera nos próximos anos no mercado de exibição cinematográfica. Ontem tivemos Luiz Fernando Moral apresentando o tema A Expansão do Mercado Digital e o panorama do mercado de exibição para o ano de 2021. E logo depois tivemos o Luciano Tafetani, da Adobe. Ele apresentou os produtos da Adobe em relação ao tema desenvolvimento de tecnologias para um novo universo em entretenimento. Ambas as apresentações podem ser acessadas a qualquer momento e os links dessas apresentações estão disponíveis aqui na descrição embaixo do seu canal aí do YouTube. Basta acessar, lógico, vou pedir para você acessar logo depois da apresentação que teremos logo mais. E lógico, a gente vai começar os trabalhos hoje com um dos nossos patrocinadores, que é a Christie. E temos presentes aqui o Ricardo Laporta. Deixa eu apresentá-los agora. Temos Ricardo Laporta e o Alan Fernandes. Tudo bom, Laporta? How are you, Alan?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, fine.
Oi, Marcelo, tudo bem? Obrigado pelo convite.
Bacana. Eu que agradeço, Laporta. Agradeço a parceria de sempre. É importante lembrar, gente, que boa parte da apresentação será feita em inglês. E por causa disso, a gente também tem a tradução simultânea de toda essa apresentação. E o link da tradução simultânea vocês podem acessar também aqui na descrição do vídeo, em uma segunda aba do seu navegador, para que vocês consigam ouvir a tradução simultânea e a apresentação em inglês que o Alan vai fazer. Também é importante lembrar que esta apresentação, assim como todas as outras, está sendo gravada e ela ficará disponível imediatamente após o fim desta apresentação. O Ricardo Laporta e o Alan irão apresentar o tema Novas tecnologias de projeção e soluções eficazes, um cinema premium em um mundo pós-Covid. Então, gente, deixo com vocês. Alan, it's with you. E tenha uma boa apresentação.
Obrigado, Marcelo.
Thank you, Marcelo.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone. I have a lot of information to cover on what Christie's been working on for the past 12 to 18 months. So I won't go into too much detail on each slide because there's a lot of material to cover, but I will give you a brief overview of everything that's been in development. So to kind of give you a brief agenda of what we will be talking about, just to give you a little bit of a brief market outlook on what COVID-19 has done to the box office, what kind of recovery signals we are seeing in the market, talk a little bit about a new product that Christie has in the sanitation technology called Care 222, an update on Xenolight lamps, and then we'll go through the projection update, the portfolio, some of the new software features and value-add features that I would call it that we are bringing to the portfolio. Some of them are already active today. And close things off with an update on our global training program and a Q&A at the end. So to start things off, just to kind of look at the box office outlook, this data is already from, I believe, from November, December. So there's been some new developments since then. But as you can see, from the box office contribution, North America has been hit the worst. And that's mainly because most of the big studio blockbuster releases have been pushed from 2020 to 2021. You can see in China, their box office performance actually has already reached the pre-pandemic levels in December. Very good news. Japan actually has also had a very good box office performance with the release of one movie in December called Demon Slayer, which actually was the largest grossing movie of all time for Japan. And they did that in the middle of a pandemic. So $350 million US box office contribution. Very, very good performance. It's just a testament to kind of show you how much pent-up demand there is for people to go back to the cinema. We see kind of this V-shaped recovery in terms of the global box office recovery. So basically by 2022 to 2023, in total global box office revenue, we think we'll be back to pre-pandemic levels and improving on a yearly basis. But I think in the short term, summer of this year, later this year, we will see a very, very strong demand and strong box office numbers with the blockbuster release slate. So we have never before have so many what we call the tentpole releases, the big blockbuster hits coming to cinemas in a single year. So literally billions of US dollars of investment from the studios. So I think we will have a very, very strong recovery, a very strong spike in pent-up demand coming back to cinemas. So I'm excited to see what that will hold. So fingers crossed. You know, we have the vaccine rollout goes as planned. We have the lockdown restrictions are lifted to enable people to get back to the cinema. So one technology that Christie has been working on for the past year is something called Christie Counteract. And it's using what's called Care 222 technology. This is actually from our parent company, Ushio. They've been developing and working on this technology for a few years. And it is a UVC sanitation light. But the differentiator here is that it does not have the harmful 254 nanometer spectrum. It only has a 222 nanometer spectrum, which has been proven now to not be harmful to human skin or to human eyes, and still just as effective in eradicating bacteria and viral transmission loads. So there's we have basically taken this technology from our parent company, from Ushio, and productized it into this these what we call these pucks. They look kind of like a little smiley face with two emitting windows in there, and they are basically designed for any place where there's large gatherings of people, any public places. Again, cinemas would be the primary target, but a whole suite of other applications that this will be useful for. So we are in the process now of completing some of the regulatory and compliance hurdles with the FDA for North American distribution. And we're very, very excited about this this technology moving forward. So just to kind of give you what I mentioned before, this is the main focus of this technology is really the wavelength technology, 222 versus the 254. So it allows this to be used in public indoor spaces without risk of exposure to humans and damage to human DNA on the skin and on the eyes and things like that. So some specs, some statistics here. You know, the 222 nanometer is more effective than 254, which is the harmful wavelength for humans, against the spore bacteria. It does not penetrate the eyes the way and the skin that the way 254 does. And so because of this, it allows us to use this in public spaces. So really, it's basically, you know, these top three reasons for Counteract. Really, again, the top three reasons. It can be used with when people are present. It's as effective as 254 nanometer technology for a whole range of different bacteria and viruses. And it's really an extra layer of defense in addition to other combinations, other measures, making sure people are washing their hands, making sure that touch points in public spaces are routinely cleaned and disinfected. So this gives an added layer of defense to instill confidence and ensure that public spaces are as clean and sanitized as they possibly can be to combat these types of scenarios, viruses. So there's a whole bunch of different technical details here that I won't go into at this point. I think you'll be able to go back and review this presentation. And if you have any questions, you can always talk to Ricardo or anybody from the Christie team to address any questions here.
Yeah, well, just let me make a quick, comment on this. Pessoal, a gente eu tenho recebido muita dúvida e muita mensagem e falado com alguns exibidores a respeito dessa solução. A gente sabe que é uma solução nova, é uma solução disruptiva, ela tem uma característica muito particular, então assim, a gente não espera aqui entrar em detalhes detalhes muito minuciosos. A gente vai fazer um workshop só para essa solução, onde a gente vai convidar todos vocês, enfim, mercado inteiro, não só para a área de cinema, mas para outras áreas também. A gente vai fazer uma coisa dedicada ao Counteract, porque a gente sabe que é uma solução que ela pode ajudar em muito o nosso mercado. Então, fiquem tranquilos que a gente vai, em breve, a gente vai ter alguma coisa saindo, tá bom? E aí? Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you, Ricardo. Okay, so moving on to the Christie Xenolite cinema lamps. Typically, this is maybe some of you know Mr. Jim Dukes, who is our cinema product manager for the lamp portfolio. Unfortunately, he is not able to join us today, so I will present on his behalf. It's hard to believe that it has been more than 10 years now since digital cinema took off. So now we see more than 200,000 digital cinema projectors in the world. We have seen removal of some xenon projectors now to be replaced by solid state laser, whether that's RGB or laser phosphor. But we still see the majority of projectors in the market today are still burning xenon lamps. And of course, all these xenon projectors will still need lamps in the future. So the Christie Xenolite lamps line, it's truly the workhorse of digital cinema, has been for the past 10 to 15 years. They're very, very good, of course, at producing that accurate white points. Cinemas require that DCI P3 white point without advanced color correction to maintain a high efficiency. Xenon has a very stable white point, so it doesn't drift with age, which makes them, of course, a very ideal technology for cinema. And everyone knows that Xenon has been around for a long time. It's a tried, it's tested, it's well understood technology that has been in cinemas for a very long time. The Xenolite lamps has a very high industry standard of reliability, well over 50 years in the marketplace that Ushio has been manufacturing lamps, and more lumens per dollar than any other illumination technology for cinema. If you're looking from a pure CapEx, so capital acquisition cost for a technology, Xenon still has the best, lowest price, upfront price. Let's put it that way. Let's go to the next slide. So we have some new lamps on the portfolio. These are the UP lamps, ultimate performance lamps, which allow more stable brightness and reliability, especially in older projectors. So older projectors have, the ignition system ages. And as the ignition system ages, it cannot as reliably strike or ignite a lamp as it did when it was new. As the lamp gets older, the ignition voltage to ignite that lamp gets higher, and of course, as an igniter gets older, that the ignition voltage that it can produce gets lower. So we see that compounding effect. So the UP lamps have been designed to operate with an aging fleet of xenon projectors in the market. So it really gives us a better warranty as well. So from Ushio has allowed us to give us a 100% warranty coverage up to 1,000 hours now, instead of a prorated warranty, I think after 800 or 900 hours. More lumens per dollar, of course. And it's compatible with all of the existing Series 1 or Series 2 xenon projectors in the field. You're running the 4.5 kilowatt or 6 kilowatt lamps. So it's going to take a long time for xenon cinema projectors to transition to laser, and I think the impact of COVID-19 will really kind of slow things down a little bit, because of course it's been a tough time for exhibitors over this past year, having to remain largely closed. So we've taken that into consideration, and given our as many different options as possible to our partners, to our dealers, to carefully evaluate and decide when the right time is to switch to laser, and in the meantime ensuring that we can support our legacy xenon platforms with new options to maintain that return on your investment, to absolutely have the lowest operating costs and acquisition costs as possible until we're ready for a full transition to laser. So with that, I'm going to switch over to talking about laser. We have Christie Real Laser, which is a pure RGB. RGB E series, which we just launched last year, late last year. And then we still have, of course, the xenon projection portfolio. So Real Laser is a pure RGB portfolio that Christie started developing about 3 years ago now, really based around a core technology block called the laser optical system. We call it LOS for short, and a technology innovation in laser devices called the MDP, multi-laser diode pack. So that image that you see at the bottom of the slide, it's an array of closely packed diodes in the projector. This allows us to make the design of our LOS highly scalable, allows us to change out different laser wavelengths for different performance outcomes. So better speckle, maybe maximum brightness because you don't care about speckle, so you can go to more efficient lasers. There's basically allows us to modify the existing design quite easily. It is a fully sealed system, so no dust ingress. So protects basically designed for ultra long life in different in a long-term fixed installation like digital cinema. And we have an expected lifetime for this technology of more than 50,000 hours. And the way we extrapolate that is, if you were most cinemas always operate their cinema projector with some headroom. When I say headroom, it means you're not going to run that cinema projector at 100% brightness on day one. You typically 80% of its available brightness or even less to maximize life and allow for, as the projector ages, there will be a natural loss of some brightness. So the projector can ensure that it can maintain that brightness by increasing power through the light lock system, as it typically does on a lamp-based system. So if you were to run at 80% power or less on day one, you can expect to see 50,000 hours of expected lifetime from the laser devices themselves. One of the things we designed this platform to be mindful was the operational efficiency, and this is important for calculating that total cost of ownership, knowing how much brightness you're getting out of the projector for how much wall plug power you're consuming, and that's critically important to establish a cost of ownership over 10 years. And we've prided ourselves to have the best operational efficiency in this portfolio in the world. So Christie was able to come first to market with a pure RGB portfolio, and we're always taking advantage of the latest laser innovations to ensure that we increase the efficiency and ensure that that total cost of ownership is met as time moves on.
Pessoal, queria só fazer um comentário importantíssimo que a gente já conversou isso com muitos integradores, com muitos e muitos clientes, e acho que é um negócio que a gente precisa bater toda vez que a gente fala em tecnologia de iluminação laser. Quando você fala em 50 mil horas, você está falando basicamente, se você considerar um uso, né, padrão de 10 horas dia, você está falando em mais de 13 anos de um equipamento rodando, né? Claro que a gente não tem nenhum equipamento laser em cinema rodando há 13 anos, né? Mas a matemática ela não deixa de ser clara, né? A gente sabe o quanto tempo esses diodos de laser eles vão te gerar luz, né? Então a gente está falando de uma questão de eu ter muito tempo de operação num projetor versus uma eficiência energética muito melhor do que um projetor xenon, por exemplo, e até comparado com outros projetores laser por aí. Então, a gente tem que entender que você está falando no consumo elétrico, consumo de energia, que durante esses 13 anos, ele tem que ser colocado na conta quando você faz um CAPEX, ou você faz até uma alocação, um modelo de financiamento, mas você tem que colocar essa questão energética nesta conta, porque o tempo que você está considerando para tomar essa decisão, ele é muito maior agora do que os projetores antigos, né? Os Séries 1 estão completando aí nos Estados Unidos quase 15 anos. Primeiro Séries 1. Aqui no Brasil, a gente está falando de projetores com 8 a 9 anos. Então, é esse tipo de conta que eu gostaria que todo mundo pensasse, e eu acho que é super importante a gente lembrar da vida útil desses novos equipamentos. E agora, Aaron.
Thank you, Ricardo. And even though my Portuguese speaking abilities aren't as good as Ricardo's, I do understand what he's saying. So, we do look at this regularly. So we did take some projectors back from the field at 5,000 hours and now at 10,000 hours to do kind of open up the LOS, open up the laser system to see how well they've been performing, how clean they've been maintained, and make sure that we are achieving the expected life of these systems. And I'm happy to report that, on the laser technology side, we have gained so much more confidence over the last 18 months once we've seen some of the high hour, some of the early deployed units that had a significant number of operational hours on them now. So we're very, very confident now with laser lifetime in general. We have 8 different models of the RGB real laser. Actually, we have more here because we are transitioning what we call CineLife to CineLife Plus, which is really also known as Cinema Series 3 to Series 4. So if you look at the second digit in the model name, so example, CP4320 is actually now becoming a CP4420. And really, this is the changeover in the electronics. So upgrading the electronics platform to what we call CineLife Plus. And really, this is our next generation cinema electronics to basically provide the high performance inputs to support things like 4K 120 frames per second. We have 4 12G SDI, so for post-production, they can use this now for raw, uncompressed 4K 120 input into the projector. It's got a number of other inputs like DisplayPort version 1.2, HDMI 2.0. So HDMI 2.0 now will allow you to do alternative content at 4K 60, and will also allow you to do dual HDMI input to do 4K 60 3D per eye. So 4K 60 left eye, 4K 60 right eye. So really designed to future-proof the investment because as we know, cinema projectors are installed for 10 to 15 years. So we need to make sure that the technology platform is there to support the requirements, 5, 10 years and even further from now. So we expect to have all the models in the portfolio transitioned to CineLife Plus by the end of this calendar year. This slide is a little bit outdated. It said the first half of 2021. The first half of 2021, we will have all of the 4K projectors transitioned, but the 2K projectors, which don't have as much, need for the Series 4 electronics because it's a 2K projector. It's a value offering. It does not support 4K 120 because it's 2K, exactly that sort of thing. But they will all be transitioned by the end of this calendar year. And so what we've done that on purpose to try and repurpose our development and engineering resources to focus on more value add features and enhancements to the portfolio instead of bringing more new products to market. So focusing things on image optimization, automation, remote UI, rental mode is another one, and I'll talk a little bit about these features later in the presentation. So with the introduction of CineLife Plus Series 4, it has a fully integrated remote UI, so you don't need a touch panel controller to operate the projector. All you need is a browser, any kind of computer or an iPad or a phone with a browser, and the projector has what's called a VNC embedded browser support. So you can have a fully scalable UI based on any laptop or PC or iPad or whatever you use. So if you do want the touch panel, it's a separate optional accessory now today. We also have Mystique, what I call the automated image optimization with the new version of Lightlock and the Mystique Cinema that I will also talk about in a later slide here. In the value offering, we have launched the RGB-E series, and this is 3 new additions to the cinema portfolio last year, late last year. So this is actually still uses pure RGB illumination augmented with enhanced wavelength diversity. So really ensuring that we can achieve low speckle on some of the smaller screens. And these are based on Series 3, so CineLife platform. Supports all the major IMB and IMS models from GDC and Dolby. It also has the rental mode functionality, which I will talk a little bit about in a later slide. And it's really more of a value-based offering, so entry-level pricing with advanced RGB performance. And you may recognize these projectors. They look exactly like the CP2308 Xenon projector, which is what they were based off of. Essentially, we took that design, removed all of the lamp-associated hardware, and installed an RGB laser illumination system. With some very, very good operational efficiency values as well. So 6,000 lumens, 8,000 lumens, 10,000 lumens for each model. And then on the Xenon projection side, we still have a Xenon portfolio today. It is based on that Series 2 electronics that was really a design from TI, Texas Instruments. It's a very old platform right now, 11 years old. So we are looking at a way to continue this, supporting this portfolio after Series 2. So we're looking at transitioning some of the models to a CineLife Plus electronics architecture to inject new value and some new features into this platform and keep this as that low cost, high value offering in the portfolio for the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 2 to 5 years. And I think that lamp projection will still play a very important role in emerging markets, especially because of the damage that COVID-19 has done to the industry and will take some time to recover. So a little bit about Mystique Cinema. Mystique Cinema was a new software / hardware package that we released about 2 years ago now. It was really designed to replace the mechanical dual projection system that we have, which was called Christie Duo. Get rid of all that, the hardware really required to align those two projectors, and really just have a camera-based system where you could put two projectors side by side and have one projector basically warp to perfectly match pixel for pixel the projectors beside it. And what we've done is we've taken this Mystique Cinema now, and it uses a camera. So it's a camera-based, camera feedback-based system. And what we are doing now is making this for single projector applications. And we have 2 new features now that are going to be released in the next week or 2. One, the Mystique Cinema for a single projection application with autofocus and auto convergence. And even we're still looking at even more features in the future. But basically what Mystique Cinema is designed to do is to make sure that the projector will always look as good as it did on the day 1 of installation. So it'll always focus itself on the screen. If you have some convergence drift between RGB, it'll correct for that. And it also corrects for a thing called lateral color error, which is where the convergence is off on the sides of the screen. You may see a splitting of RGB colors, something that you cannot correct for with a mechanical convergence system. So very cool features. We also have what's called electronic color convergence, which is also coming out aside separate from Mystique. It's a free offering that's going to come out in version 1.4 software coming in the end of March, and it will be available on all Cinelife Plus projectors. It will give you the ability to correct for convergence error on the sides of the image, which you could not do before in the past, and give you a way to basically make that image look as crisp as possible throughout the whole screen. So very excited about these features. This will really allow exhibitors to capitalize on that low maintenance promise of solid state RGB. So on the cinema software side, we have, we'll just kind of briefly go through this. This is our software release schedule for Cinelife and Cinelife Plus. So Cinelife being the Series 3, Cinelife Plus being the Series 4. So rental mode is a new feature. We have it now released in both platforms, and this allows basically, let's say a dealer, for example, who wants to retain ownership of the projection asset, and they want to lease it out to an exhibitor, for example. They can do this with rental mode. They can put, you can have restrictions based on brightness, based on number of hours, based on a calendar date in the year, and then you can establish some kind of leasing financing model based on the rental mode licensing structure that's incorporated into the projector software now. Remote UI, we talked about that already. The light lock, the new version of light lock with the brightness slider now will allow you to just do a simple one point measurement on the screen when you're installing a new projector. And that basically allows you to reduce the setup time drastically to get your projector to the right calibrated brightness and calibrated white point. Electronic color convergence, I mentioned already. Eco low power mode, which is basically reduced power on standby. So we're looking for ways further to reduce that standby power consumption to ensure that total cost of ownership is further improved. And other things like variable fan speed to reduce noise. So you can see this is coming out. Some of these features have already been released, and some features coming out early to mid this year. Rental mode, I kind of discussed this already, so I won't go into too much detail again. A license-based system to allow for exhibitors to acquire projectors based on some kind of leasing or financing model or pay-per-use model. And like I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of different things that this rental mode can restrict the projector on operating from. So very excited to have that as an option for our partners and exhibitors. I won't go into too much detail here. These are mainly just screenshots of how this will work. Any questions you have with this type of, any technical questions, you can always ask myself or Ricardo, and we will answer those as they come in. There's also what's called a rental mode FAQ. If you just email cinema.rental@christiedigital.com, we can provide you a pamphlet on how this rental mode actually works, how the licensing mechanism works, and basically give you a full overview on how to use this for your customers. Remote UI, I talked about this already. The remote UI now is basically a fully scaled UI implementation of what we have on the touch panel. It's a complete mirrored functionality from what you would see on the TPC. So this is, and it's embedded VNC, so it allows you to do everything you would normally do on the projector, including file management. So upgrading your upload files, your upgrade files, uploading test patterns, all of that stuff is able to do from just from the web browser now. And we have Light Lock. Light Lock, we improved this, what we call the laser management system, to drastically reduce the setup time to set up your white point. So in the first generation Series 3 Cinema RGB projection systems, you would have to individually tune your red, green, and blue drive levels to reach that DCI white point. Now it's just, you take one simple measurement off the screen, you input those parameters into the projector, it auto calibrates, and then you just have a single brightness slider that you can move from left to right, and to adjust your brightness while maintaining white points. So that's only available on the Cinelife Plus projectors, and that's already out now. It was out in November of last year in version 1.3. So that's just another screenshot of what it looks like. Very simple interface. At the bottom here, you just tell it what white point you want to achieve. By default, it's always 314, 351 for cinema content, and it automatically controls your white point based on the ambient temperature of your environment as well. Okay, electronic color convergence. I talked a little bit about this previously. This is kind of this lateral color error that we see. It's basically, you look on the edges of the screen and you see what looks like the projector not being converged, meaning you can see individual red, green, and blue, the separation in the DMD. And this is an electronic method of perfectly correcting for this. And I can say that this is a very unique feature, differentiated on the market, that no one else has the ability to correct for at this moment in time. And then you can couple this with Mystique Cinema to be completely automated with a camera-based system. So again, simple user interface. You can see in the images, this is again very aggressive. I think we did a purposely misconverged the projector to see how well it could compensate. And these are actual images of what it would look like before and after. So you can see the before and after in the top right screen, and then it corrects perfectly in the edges. So very, very impressed by what this thing can do. Okay, so moving on to the Christie University. Many of you may have met Mina El-Raheb. He is our global cinema training manager. He's a manager, but he basically does all the training, creates all of our training material, and flies all around the world. Well, at least he did before COVID. But he basically is the man that helps us ensuring that our integrators, our dealers, our customers are all empowered with all of the information and the technical training necessary to ensure success for installations, success for maintenance, troubleshooting, and minimizing the downtime. So Mina does, sorry, was Ricardo, was that you? No?
Yeah. Não, eu queria chamar um pouco a atenção para a questão de treinamento, que é uma coisa que a Christie sempre não só acreditou, mas como ela incentivou sempre o mercado a tá junto com a gente. Sempre que a gente tem um treinamento, tinha um treinamento antes da pandemia, eu acho que eu fiz mais de 20 treinamentos aqui no escritório de São Paulo, e esses treinamentos todos, quase na sua totalidade, nunca foram cobrados, né? Treinamentos gratuitos. Quem já teve nesses treinamentos, acho que sabe da qualidade e da também profundidade com que a gente dissemina o conteúdo que a gente tem, que é muito vasto. A nossa ideia é sempre formar técnicos, sejam eles mais experientes, menos experientes, novos no mercado, saídos da faculdade. A gente teve gente que estava na faculdade ainda, que fez treinamento conosco. Então, é uma parte que parece default, né? Enfim, parece uma coisa simples, mas a gente sempre deu muita importância para a questão de treinar as pessoas, educar o nosso mercado de uma maneira justa, né? Como eu disse, a gente quase nunca cobrou treinamentos, e a gente vai continuar fazendo isso. A gente tem agora que também o Alan colocou a questão de webinars. O próprio Christie University, ele é um grande repositório de informações. Você tem centenas de vídeos e conteúdos e apresentações. A gente consegue fazer treinamentos presenciais e treinamentos, enfim, à distância. Isso é algo que a gente sempre bate na tecla, porque é importante. Se você tem técnicos dentro da tua, enfim, estrutura, dentro do teu cinema, às vezes um gerente que também toma conta da cabine, é muito importante que vocês saibam que a gente está aí super aberto e sempre vai estar disponível a ter esses treinamentos acontecendo. Então, isso é uma coisa que eu quero que as pessoas entendam, que é a nossa prática diária.
Thank you, Ricardo. So one thing here is to highlight if there's any specific training that your team needs to maybe learn about or get a refresher course on, all you need to do is send an email to that email address, training@christiedigital.com, and then Mina can hold a live session to help discuss and help train you on some of the questions that you may have, discuss those technology blocks in some of our newer products. And then, of course, the other training that Ricardo just talked to you about, all the videos that we have online in the Christie University platform. So you can register for Christie University for free, and it gives you access to all of the current courses that are already uploaded. And you can take these courses as many times as you want to update your knowledge. So basically, this is how you would register. Basically, go to this email address here and input the information, and you can sign up for the instructor-led courses. Some of the courses that are there now, we have the Real Laser and Cinelife to kind of give you some of the instructor-led courses. These are the in-person courses. Of course, I don't know when we're going to have the in-person training come back again. So right now, a lot of this is in course material inside of the Christie University library. And then we have the webinar, the online live session. So if you email that training@christiedigital.com, you can request different topics, but some of the topics that have already been popular in the past have been these ones here: Christie LOS, the laser operation, understanding the operation, troubleshooting, a course on Christie Mystique, and of course the new platform Cinelife Plus and all of the new features. So there's already some online live sessions that Mina has already been working with our customers and our partners on as well. And of course, this is just to close off on the training side. The training does not stop at teaching a class, right? It's about training, and then of course engaging and getting the personal experience. The technical trainer is the subject matter expert. So When we have Mina will typically host a train the trainer session. So he helps someone in your organization become that training person, that subject matter expert that can help and train the rest of the staff and new employees and newcomers to basically be proficient in understanding all of the different aspects of the different technologies, projection systems, software, anything. And that's it on the training side. So one last slide, just to close things off for me. It's a very unprecedented time with COVID. Everyone's tired of it. We've been in this for 1 year now, and we're looking to, for the light at the end of the tunnel. So we're always listening and trying to help out the community in any way we can. One of the ways we're ensuring that commitment to the community is through the expertise and making sure we share that expertise with partners and integrators, making sure that you guys have the tools and the knowledge through training to help with the reopening of your cinemas and the maintenance of your cinemas moving forward. Making sure that we always have the right equipment in the regions, availability in the regions. As we know, Brazil is one of the more difficult regions because of the border tariffs and challenge that we go through to make sure we have parts in the country. So that's one thing that we're making sure that we work on and pay very close attention to. And of course, on the improvement side, make sure that we review and make software improvements, not just come up with new products, but make improvements that add value to the existing portfolio. And adding value meaning allowing our customers and our partners to realize the benefit of that, whether it's through reduced maintenance costs, whether it's through ensuring that the presentation looks as good as on day one as it does on year 2 or year 3. Without having to spend on service intervention to retune the projector. So things like that. So what I would call the value add features to the portfolio. And of course, the support, right? Make sure we can help our customers identify and help them make the right choices for their auditoriums. Make sure they pick the right technology choice that makes sense for their business and then the best cinema experience possible. So with that is the last slide for me. So I think I'm only 3 minutes over, and not sure if we had time for a Q&A, but I'm going to send it back over to Mr. Laporta, and he will address any concerns you guys may have. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate taking the time to listen to Christie and spend some time with us today. So off to you, Ricardo.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much for the great presentation. Eu acho que o que fica claro, Marcelo e, enfim, todo mundo que está aqui com a gente hoje é que a Christie, ela, enfim, claramente é um fabricante de equipamentos. Essa é a nossa principal missão. A gente sabe que é isso que a gente tem que fazer bem. Mas tem uma questão também muito importante, que é deixar as nossas soluções mais adaptáveis a uma realidade que agora, infelizmente, com a pandemia, ela chegou, né? Então, eu acho que os exibidores eles vão precisar se concentrar em outras questões do próprio negócio, e a cabine precisa deixar de ser um problema que aconteça, às vezes, até diariamente, né? Você tem um problema aqui, um problema ali, e os equipamentos precisam demonstrar uma confiabilidade muito maior, precisa ter uma experiência de usuário. Quer dizer, quem está ali operando aquele projetor diariamente, isso precisa estar facilitado, isso precisa ser melhorado, e eu acho que foi uma grande coincidência que a Christie foi para o Series 3, o Series 4, a gente acabou focando muito na questão de deixar os softwares, deixar o controle do projetor o mais simples e mais interativo possível. E eu tenho grande certeza que a gente fez isso. A gente tem essas novas séries, elas são super intuitivas, os softwares, eles meio que se auto-explicam assim que você começa o uso deles. não requer grandes treinamentos para, enfim, você operá-los. Então, a gente sabe, de novo, a gente sabe que a gente é um fabricante, mas a gente também agora entende que precisa ter um papel diferente na cadeia. A gente está lá na pontinha, mas a gente precisa ter um papel diferente para entregar para o exibidor mais do que um projetor funcionando. A gente tem que entregar um projetor que tenha a melhor imagem possível, né? Que a gente acredita que o laser faz isso. Então, a gente está, eu acho que a gente está no caminho correto, e a gente está super à disposição de todos os exibidores, todo mundo que está no mercado. A gente tem, enfim, contato quase que diário, mas a gente quer reiterar a nossa disponibilidade para tudo que for necessário. A gente vai vir com mais novidades na questão financeira, enfim, a gente tem outras coisas vindo, mas eu acho que a questão tecnológica ela é super importante, mais ainda quando se precisa ter agora uma apresentação com uma qualidade muito, muito boa para as pessoas saírem de casa e pagarem o ingresso para ir até o cinema. Né? Esse é o nosso ponto de vista.
Bacana, Ricardo. Obrigado pela sua apresentação. Alan também. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time and you in Canada trying to explain us everything.
No problem. You're welcome.
Great. Eu tenho umas perguntas aqui, Ricardo. A primeira delas, o próprio Flávio Conterúcio complementou uma pergunta que eu estava preparado também para fazer, né? Que é sobre o modelo de aluguel, né, dos equipamentos. Parece que vocês já estão praticamente com um modelo pronto e ainda mais ligado ao Recine, né? Eu vou complementar essa pergunta do Flávio, né? Parece também que está ligado ao Recine e vocês conseguem criar um modelo de aluguel para isso. Você consegue explicar? Tem bastante tempo, temos 7 minutos ainda, então fica à vontade.
Consigo. Dizem que aquela boa resposta é aquela que você dá durante uma subida de elevador, não é? Você pegar o elevador com alguém sem explicar a ideia, mas... Não, a gente tem... É uma vontade que a gente tinha já de muito, muito tempo. E eu acho que, de novo, a pandemia mudou uma série de coisas, a gente precisa se adaptar. Como eu disse, nós somos fabricantes, a gente tem total entendimento do que a gente é capaz de, enfim, fazer, entregar, e o que a gente não é, enfim, capaz. A gente não consegue estar ali junto com o exibidor no dia a dia dele, mas a gente acha e a gente tem confiança que a gente consegue entregar um modelo de aquisição diferenciado. Eu sou um grande porta-voz desse tipo de operação dentro da companhia. Claramente não é fácil você convencer todos os envolvidos num tipo de operação dessa, ainda mais aqui no Brasil. A gente passou por um problema de inadimplência, não só no nosso mercado, mas acho que em todos os mercados a gente teve uma questão importante de que, enfim, crédito, mas a gente conseguiu chegar num cenário que, graças ao Recine, e aí acho que tem que ser dada o crédito também à Ancine, a gente, com o Recine, consegue fazer este modelo ficar muito acessível e assim, a preços, valores mensais muito, muito baixos. Claro que eu não vou dar aqui nenhum valor, porque depende de cada exibidor, depende de cada negociação, mas os valores, eles são realmente interessantes. Eu tive algumas conversas com alguns poucos exibidores que a gente já passou proposta, a gente já tem alguma coisa engatilhada, e eu posso dizer que é um modelo que ele faz sentido, especialmente agora, depois esse nosso golpe que a gente sofreu. A gente entende também que a Christie precisa se adaptar, não só nós, mas outros fabricantes, tem que se adaptar a uma nova realidade, e essa nova realidade ela passa não por CAPEX, mas por OPEX, né? Então, assim, a gente vai ter que ir para um modelo mensalizado para ajudar os nossos clientes que tanto estiveram com a gente esses últimos anos. Eu acho que agora nada mais justo do que a gente dar alguma coisa em troca e oferecer um modelo que eu acho que pelo menos alivia um pouco a questão financeira de cada um. Então, a gente tem sim, a gente vai muito em breve fazer algo maior para o mercado inteiro, regionalmente, inclusive, não só uma coisa única, mas a gente entende que regionalmente isso tem que ser trabalhado de alguma maneira, e a gente está indo sim para esse modelo, eu te diria que nos próximos 2 meses.
Bacana. Complementando essa pergunta, Ricardo, esse aluguel, como ele vai se movimentar junto à hierarquia das vendas que a gente tem entre exibidor e integrador? O integrador vai fazer parte desse movimento ou vai ser uma negociação direta com o exibidor?
Olha, eu acho, Marcelo, que quando você tem uma cadeia, né, onde você tem revendas, fabricantes, clientes, parceiros, consultores, você tem diferentes naturezas, né, de atuação, eu acho que a gente precisa entender o que cada um traz de valor para a cadeia. Essa que é a primeira pergunta que a gente tem que se fazer, né? O que cada um consegue trazer de valor real para aquela negociação, para aquela oportunidade. Eu sou um grande defensor de que as coisas não são por cliente, mas elas são por oportunidades. Eu acho que talvez um cliente ele tenha diversas oportunidades dentro ali do pipeline dele, a gente precisa olhar cada oportunidade individualmente, né? Se a gente tem uma dificuldade que existe naquela, enfim, operação, e a gente tem dealers, a gente tem consultores, integradores, que eles conseguem trazer valor para essa nossa operação, com certeza a gente vai trazer todo mundo para a mesa e a gente vai querer que todo mundo faça sentido nesta conta. A gente tem que ficar muito cuidadoso quando a gente fala em locação, quando a gente fala em mensalização, né, de qualquer ativo. Você precisa tomar muito cuidado porque já existem custos associados ao modelo de locação, modelo as a service. Você precisa considerar alguns custos que numa venda normal você não teria, né? Então você tem que ter um seguro diferenciado, você tem que ter uma questão financeira muito bem arranjada dentro da companhia. Então, sim, a gente quer trazer todas as pontas para a conversa, desde que a gente tenha valor sendo gerado, né? Isso para mim é o ponto fundamental. Se não tiver valor, a gente tem que entender o que cada um espera, né, basicamente.
Bacana. O Johnny Ferreira, da Ancine, está aqui presente na nossa live, né? Então, deixou aí o e-mail dele para quem quiser saber mais detalhes sobre o Recine, o exibidor que estiver interessado a isso, pode fazer o e-mail. Repetindo, a Christie está montando um projeto onde pode fazer a alocação dos equipamentos utilizando o Recine, quer dizer, os valores das mensalidades desse possível aluguel seriam também um valor bem abaixo do mercado. Parabéns a Christie pela ideia, parabéns a Ancine por ter ajudado a Christie ter feito esse projeto, e tomara que dê certo. A gente fica bastante animado. Eu deixo aqui também o interesse do Cine Marquise em querer fazer também essa negociação, se possível. Bom, gente, a gente está chegando ao fim. Eu queria deixar aqui o meu agradecimento ao Ricardo Laporta, ao Alan Fernandes, pelo tempo gasto e por tudo. Lembrando que todo esse vídeo está sendo gravado, vocês podem acessar desde o início, para quem chegou um pouquinho mais tarde, tá? E a gente está finalizando já a primeira parte do segundo dia da Exibidor Tech Week. Eu falei agora há pouco sobre o Cine Marquise. O Cine Marquise ele teve uma abertura parcial na semana passada, com sua cafeteria, com cafés artesanais. Convido a todos a visitarem essa abertura parcial do cinema. A gente estará completamente aberto a qualquer um dos profissionais aqui presentes a fazer um tour pela obra, o que a gente pretende fazer lá dentro. O Cine Marquise, a intenção do Grupo Tonks em entregar o Cine Marquise é para ser um centro de treinamento, é para ser um espaço de discussão e debates entre exibidores, entre distribuidores, entre produtores. Então, todos estejam convidados no Cine Marquise, ele em obra ou ele aberto, né? A gente vai dar um intervalo de apenas 5 minutos e logo depois a gente inicia a próxima transmissão, que é com a Harkness. Os executivos Richard Mitchell e Tony Dilley já estão disponíveis. A gente só vai fazer esse intervalo de 5 minutinhos e a gente vai entrar com um tema enriquecendo a experiência do cinema em um mundo pós-pandemia. O link de acesso a essa transmissão que a gente vai ter da Harkness aqui da Exibidor Tech Week, ele está disponível aí embaixo nas descrições, né? Está aí painel Harkness.
São 17h30.
Vocês podem clicar vocês podem clicar assim que a gente finalizar aqui, e aí em 5 minutos a gente já entra no ar, tá bom? Não esqueçam, se inscrevam no canal, clica no sininho, isso é importante para a gente, é importante também para vocês, para novos vídeos que a gente lançar e também dos próximos vídeos que serão transmitidos via ao vivo nessa Exibidor Tech Week. Né? Mais uma vez, Ricardo, obrigado. Alan, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Obrigado,
Anytime.
Marcelo.
Obrigado.
Parabéns.
E vejo vocês daqui a pouco lá na sala da Hackness. Obrigado, gente.
Um abraço.
Obrigado. Um abraço.